Hello, friends! Today we're talking about auction reserves and a few myths and misconceptions people might have about reserve prices. And speaking of misconceptions, just to clear it up one more time, I do not live in the van. I only visit it to shoot this video. Sometimes I travel in it. Now that we've cleared that up, let's sort some other stuff out too. Glad you asked, moving text screen. The reserve is the lowest bid a seller will accept at an auction. If the bids don't hit reserve, the car doesn't sell. It's an insurance policy so that a seller can put a car up for auction and feel confident they won't sell for significantly less than the market value. At HemmingsAuctions.com, our expert team looks at every detail of a car. All of the photos, all of the service records, any other documentation the seller provides. Then they look at published auction results from the last 6 to 12 months to get an idea of comparable sales. Taking into account the car's condition, rarity, and any other factors, they then calculate a reserve price and recommend it to the seller. Once the seller agrees, the reserve is good to go. The reserve price is not necessarily what a car is worth. Reserve price and sale price are two different concepts. So if you think your car is worth, say, $20,000, that's not where you should set the reserve. Think about it like a classified ad. If you're asking $20,000, but you know you'd take 18, that's where you should set the reserve price. The good thing about auctions is you could end up getting more than you expected, but only if you have multiple bidders competing. That's more likely to happen after the reserve is met, when every bidder knows the car will sell. As we explained in another video, sometimes you need to reassess the reserve price once an auction is underway. And remember, a seller on Hemmings Auctions can always lower the reserve during the auction. This is a common misconception across the automotive hobby. It usually goes along with attitudes that say, I know what I have. And yes, recent service and receipts can show that the car had quality work done on it or that it's in good condition, and that can help get a better price. But ultimately, the value of a car is based on what people are willing to pay for it, not how much you spent to restore it or keep it running. There are tens of thousands of vehicles for sale in the Hemmings Classifieds. It is a great place to shop for a car. Of course, I would say that. But I will also admit that sometimes some of those asking prices are a tad bit optimistic. Because that's just what they are, asking prices. Just because you see a car for sale with a big number attached to it does not mean that your car is also worth that much. It doesn't even mean the car in the ad is necessarily worth that much. Classified ads are a great way to gauge how much people are asking for a car and give you a rough guideline, but it is not a price guide. Remember, a reserve price is an exact figure calculated for an individual car. That's different than what price guides do, which is estimate a range of prices for every version of a car. Our auction team definitely takes that into account when calculating a reserve price to get the whole picture, but it's not definitive. If you look at a price guide, you'll see it offers a wide range of numbers depending on the condition of the car. And speaking of condition, this is another thing people get wrong all the time. Read the fine print in those descriptions. Number 1 condition cars are the rarest of the rares. Sometimes even a perfectly preserved original car won't warrant that status if there are nicer restorations out there. Number 2 cars are probably the nicest ones you'll ever see in person. Most people's cars, even the really good ones, usually fall in the price and condition at the bottom of the 2 range and into the 3 range. Recent sales do influence how much a car is worth and correspondingly what the reserve price should be. But in most cases, especially with mass-produced cars, one high sale does not define an entire model. We sold 2 AMC Pacers, one for 25 grand, another for 30 grand. They might be the nicest 2 Pacers left in existence. That does not magically make every AMC Pacer worth that much. There are specific factors behind every result. A high sale could be some rare combination, an incredibly stunning example, or even just a fluke bidding war. That's why we look back at months of auction results to get an overall picture and then recommend a reserve for each individual car. Now that you know so much about reserves, why don't you head over to HemmingsAuctions.com and use that knowledge. If you're looking to sell a car, we'd love to help you. And whether you're ready to buy or just window shopping, we have new cars going up for bids every single day. Plus premium classifieds you can make an offer on right now. And you can get both of those in your inbox every single morning with our email newsletter. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.